In the near future, 8 people receive mysterious messages inviting them to participate in a new game called the Call Up with a prize of up to $100. They arrive on the 25th floor of a luxury building in the middle of the city and when everyone is present, a robotic voice asks them to log in on a tablet. They are then asked to put all their clothes and personal belongings in a locker and put on the motion capture suits that have been prepared for them. While changing, Adam is teased for being too big for the bodysuit. Carl reveals a gruesome burn scar, and Andre explains that he used to be a soldier. Once everyone is ready, they move into a room with a scanner. A voice asks them to step up to the scanner and say their username, after which they can receive their new equipment. It was a state-of-the-art suit with a VR helmet attached to the spine for a fully immersive experience. Something Adam had thought was reserved for the elite. Everyone quickly donned the suit, except for Zahid, a Bosnian Muslim who had ironically chosen the terrorist moniker. Unaware that people would see it on the suit, he didn't want to play in this state and tried to leave. But the door was locked and no one came when he called for help. The other players convinced him that it was no big deal, so Zahid agreed to play. A voice announced the start of the training module and everyone took off their helmets to begin the simulation. The room transformed into an incredibly realistic post-apocalyptic world. Their suits replaced with military uniforms and their tattoos disappeared. Even though everything felt so real, their hands were still passing through objects in the simulation. Just then, the sergeant appeared and started treating them like new recruits. They couldn't touch him either, and when they lifted their helmets, they confirmed he wasn't in the room. He was just a very realistic NPC. The group follows the sergeant into another room where they are given weapons that are actually props. The sergeant asks them to test the weapons on a pile of bottles, and the players are impressed with the realistic recoil. After practicing for a while, the sergeant shoots 2 of them, causing them to lose their armor. Since this was just a tutorial, they immediately got their armor back when the sergeant explained that shooting them just once would mean losing their protection and exposing them to infection. If they were injured after losing their armor, they could use a special serum, but only 1 shot per person. This building was taken over by dangerous terrorists, so the group's first task is to eliminate them and reach the ground floor safely. Those who succeed will receive real-life cash rewards. Andre decides to lead the group because of his experience and advice on how to move stealthily. They looked around the different rooms until an enemy appeared in the hallway and opened fire. Most of the group took cover, but Andre moved quickly and took him down. While the voice announced that they had completed level 25 and all the points belonged to Andre. They touched the body and confirmed that it was also an NPC. As they go down the stairs, they discover a mechanism that will electrocute them if they try to leave without completing the level. The group enters level 24 and finds more advanced weapons, so Andre teaches them how to use them. They move into the main room and Marco takes out the first enemy that appears. Gaining more confidence, most of the players started running around and using random objects as shields while taking down all the terrorists. Adam ran out of bullets without hitting a single one, so Andre intervened to shoot the guy and got shot back, losing his armor. Meanwhile, Taylor was panicking. It turns out that a friend of hers got the invitation and she goes to take his place. But she can't stand the realism of the game. Shelly tries to comfort her and remind her that it's just a game. But when it's her turn to shoot someone, she can't do it either. The terrorist who was advancing on the girls is taken down by Carl, who is then shot and loses his armor as well. Carl tries to surrender but the enemy shoots him again, so Shelly runs out to kill him. Both the guys and Shelly take off their helmets, and even in reality Carl still feels unbearable pain. They go back to the game and Andre injects the guys with the serum to heal them instantly. Carl opens his helmet again to vomit in reality and says that this can't be a game. The group then opens their helmets to rest, while Adam searches for new weapons. The group explains that he feels real shock and theorizes that this must be a reality TV show. Zahid panics and tries to take off his suit but can't, so Marco thinks it's a test. Zahid then points out that it's probably a military experiment and Marco agrees, saying that Andre must be one of their men. An argument breaks out and things get heated, so Andre goes to the bathroom to calm down. The players didn't realize the game was still going on and the terrorists they had killed were respawning. One of them cornered Andre in the bathroom and he only had time to put his hat on before he was shot. He wanted to heal himself but had already used the serum on Carl. The others heard the noise and also took off their hats, only for Edward to be shot immediately. The group ran for cover and Taylor tried to go up the stairs, but the level was not completed so she was blocked. Soon the terrorists opened fire and the team defended themselves as best they could. Edward heals himself with the serum while Andre drags his bloody body through the hallways. Adam throws a grenade, killing all remaining enemies, and the level finally ends with Adam getting the highest score. With no more gunfire, the team can finally hear Andre calling for help. At that moment, Andre opened his helmet and heard a timer before his brain was electrocuted, causing him to convulse for several minutes. By the time the others found him, Andre was dead. Shelly attempted CPR but to no avail. The voice tells them they can continue to the next level. But the group doesn't want to play anymore. They notice some blood on the ground and realize it's the hat that killed Andre. So they try to take it off, but can't. Zahid panics and grabs a fire extinguisher as he asks for help with a test. Carl volunteered to hit Zahid with the fire extinguisher a few times, but the cap still wouldn't come off. At that point, they were called into the game by the sergeant, who walked past Carl and kicked Zahid a few times to punish him for breaking the rules. The sergeant warned them of the penalties for not playing, leaving the group with no choice but to continue moving. They go through a few levels without much trouble, although each floor requires them to learn how to use new weapons and deal with new game mechanics. In the room with the gas leak, they can't use fire weapons and instead have to use knives for hand-to-hand combat. Having to kill someone directly makes Taylor's anxiety worse, and Shelly promises her that she will get her out of there. As they continue down, most of the team loses their armor. In a serious gunfight, both Carl and Adam are shot down, so Shelly and Marco help them with their serum. A few hours later, the team rests and discovers that it is actually night. Tired of being in the game, they use different objects to start banging on the window, and Zahid tries to break the glass with a cart. Just then, the sergeant appears again and starts hitting Zahid with much more force than before. Zahid tries to escape by going up the stairs, but the sergeant kicks him down and this fall breaks Zahid's leg. Before leaving, the sergeant announces that the next person who tries to escape will be eliminated. The team rescues Zahid and finds that the wound is real but not in-game, so they cannot use the serum. The computer voice reminds them that they need to move, so Zahid asks them to hide him and leave without him. Zahid dies from blood loss. In the next level, Marco argues with the others about new weapons and the distraction causes a hidden enemy to shoot him in the back, while the team returns fire. Taylor runs to take cover in a bathroom stall. After some more gunfire, a grenade ends the fight once again and Shelly helps Marco with the serum. The team realizes Taylor is missing and goes looking for her. A terrorist appears in the bathroom and slowly begins checking the stalls. Shelly hears him, so she opens the door and stabs him first. The level ends and Edward gets the highest score, putting him first on the leaderboard. During a break, the team discusses their lives and realizes that none of them have families. This meant they were chosen because no one would look for them. This way they could be eliminated without repercussions for the company. The group moved to the next level and found the sergeant beating up a hostage. He explains that there is a bomb in the basement that will blow up the building and kill them all if they don't stop it soon. The only way to deactivate it is to get the code from the hostage, since the guy is connected to voltage transmitters. But to no avail. The terrorist says a word and Adam writes it down on the computer. However, this actually triggers the bomb, leaving only 30 minutes to manually override it before it explodes. While the sergeant leaves, the hostages laugh at them and Taylor kills him. Marco angrily blames Adam for this and tries to punch him, but hurts his hand when he puts on his hat, so he took off his helmet to punch Adam in the real face. When Taylor tried to stop him, she was hit too. At that moment, the sergeant could be heard screaming that he was holding the elevator doors open. The team rushes inside and the elevator begins to descend, only to stop rather abruptly. The doors don't open all the way, so Marco pulls them open to give everyone enough space to get out. However, when Adam tries to leave, Marco blocks him as punishment and the two end up trapped inside. The elevator takes them to the third floor. The duo sees a crashed helicopter outside the window before they begin moving through the level. Marco forces Adam to go first and Adam takes out a terrorist but is also out of ammo. This didn't stop Marco from pushing Adam forward, using him as a shield. This allowed Marco to run for cover while Adam was shot down and within seconds he was dead. With only 15 minutes left, Marco was devastated, but he didn't hesitate to move when the voice announced that the level was complete. Meanwhile, on the fourth floor, the rest of the team finds some weapons and begins searching the area. Suddenly, a terrorist throws a smoke grenade and Carl has to back away as he panics. Shelly rushes to check on Carl and he explains that he lost his girlfriend in the fire, which left him scarred. He blamed himself for not being able to save her, and now the smoke was a trigger for his fear. With a few words, Shelly calmed him down and convinced him to keep moving. The team continued through the different levels and reached the first floor with almost no ammo left, while the others continued to fight the terrorists. Taylor searches the area and finds some serum. Suddenly, Marco appears behind her and asks for an injection, but Taylor refuses, so Marco shoots her dead. When Carl comes to find Taylor, Marco pretends to be attacked and ignores him. Carl finds Taylor's body and, after a panic attack, sees that she wrote Marco's username in her blood. Carl angrily takes off his hat and attacks Marco in real life, hitting him a few times before trying to strangle him. However, Marco pushes Carl against the wall and pins him down to beat him until they separate. Carl retaliates by hitting Marco with a fire extinguisher, but Marco kicks him away. As Marco prepares to shoot Carl, the sergeant appears and begins beating him. After a few punches, the sergeant grabs Marco by the neck and strangles him until he dies. After finding the body, the remaining 3 players begin making their way down with only 7 minutes left. When they reach the basement, A voice says that this is the final level. The trio take up new weapons and search the floor, eliminating the terrorists they find along the way. Whenever they get a chance, they try to move towards the bomb, but the enemy keeps appearing. Carl throws a grenade and ends the fight. Now they can move faster. However, a terrorist suddenly appears in a truck and quickly shoots Carl down while Shelly and Edward run for cover. While Carl searches for his serum shot, Shelly hears that there are only 2 minutes left and tries to run to the bomb, only to be shot down. Carl is shot again as he moves towards her and heals her instead of himself. He tells her to win before dying beside her. Edward then uses a bazooka to kill the last enemy and runs to stop the bomb with only 1 second left. The sergeant then appears to congratulate them on their victory. Edward begins to repeat the sergeant's speech, revealing that he has been with the company all along. The simulation ends and a group of men in black come in to put Shelly to sleep before they start cleaning up the building and disposing of the bodies. The game server erases all player information and begins to shut down. In the morning, Shelly wakes up in her normal clothes and finds Edward in a suit helping the team clean things up. He hands her the bag of reward money, and when she threatens to go to the police, he points out that no one will believe her. When a man tries to sedate her again, Shelly resists and injects him with the drug. She then takes his gun and shoots out all the lights in the parking lot. Edward sends his men after her, but with all the experience Shelly has gained in the game, she easily kills them all. When Shelly comes out, Edward begs for his life, but she kills him without mercy. She then leaves the building without taking the money. The movie ends here. Remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next movie recaps.